This is Sarah, and I'm going to talk about plants today in the context of healing. I dedicated this year to components of healing, emotional and mental healing. Me and my best friend happen to have roughly the same birthday, and every year we pick something to do that is meaningful. This year it was, we're gonna make a terrarium. We thought we were going to be able to do this back in March. Coincidentally, everything shut down. None of our terrarium making plans actually happened. That being said, I still had all of the supplies on hand to make a terrarium. A bottle, a bunch of soil, rocks, some sand, sphagnum moss, and a plant. Yeah, Mark for Valentine's Day had gotten me a tiny little like miniature rose bush plant. I took care of this plant and made sure that it stayed healthy during the time that I had it in its original, I guess, container that it came in. And I ended up killing this plant. When I transported Rosie into her new terrarium, I was worried that I was going to accidentally kill her. I didn't know whether she was going to acclimate to the new environment that I put her in, and I diligently put her outside for some sun and watered her in the morning and put her on my desk, and every night I would sit with my nose practically up against the glass watching to see if anything changed. And after about a week, I noticed at the crux of one of the branches and her main stalk, like these tiny little like toes started poking out of the armpit, and they were kind of red in color, and I didn't know what they were at first. They looked kind of like fringe almost. And slowly they started growing and poking out more, and there was more and more of them, and they ended up being like shoots, like two little shoots that popped up that had leaves on each one of them. And they slowly spread up and opened out and unfurled themselves, and they became her first new branches. And once they got big enough and turned green, they changed color. The part beneath it that was damaged and withered kind of fell off all on its own because it had these new little like toe branches to get sun with. It took time. The way that I came to think of healing is like this. When you put a seed in the ground and it starts growing, so long as the plant has everything that it needs, like light, air, water, nutrients, it will grow. Now, at any point along this growth process, if the plant fails to get the things that it needs from its environment, like the sun or the water or the nutrients, then it will start to wither. You can physically see that something happened to it. It was damaged. The leaves or the branches that withered don't magically recover or go away. They stay with the plant for quite some time. As it continues to grow, it has to sprout new leaves, new shoots, and at the point in time when the plant is finally ready and has a new part of itself that it can use to absorb the good things from its environment, it can let go of or shed those withered parts of itself that it no longer has to hold on to anymore. And I view my own healing process as going much the same way. And I guess this is a good way to wrap up the story. In the end, I took Rosie outside to get some sun in the morning, which is something that I did up until the point that the temperature started changing here in Las Vegas. And as you know, Vegas is a desert. Things get very hot here, kind of abruptly. And we had a particularly hot morning, and I left her out there for just a bit too long, and within 2 hours I completely cooked the plant in the jar. And since it's an enclosure, the temperature of the soil, even when it's moist, can get very hot because the heat has no place to go, and it couldn't dissipate fast enough. So when I brought her inside, the entire plant, all of the new branches and leaves and shoots had all completely withered into like tiny, just dark little nothing things. and I thought maybe I could bring her back, and I tried. I did everything in my power. One of my friends even came and brought rose plant food to me to try and burst it with nutrients and water and stuff that the rose plant might need to recover. And in spite of my efforts, there was nothing I could do to bring this plant back from the dead. And I don't have the heart to bury her or do anything to her, so she just sort of sits at the edge of my work table and reminds me of everything that I learned while I took care of her at the beginning of this summer, spring, whatever. And I do try to remind myself regularly that everything that I'm doing right now is a process and it will take time, and I need to be patient with myself. Because some days are really easy and others are not. If anybody out there is doing somewhat of the same thing right now, I don't know, keep at it. I guess this is just my way of throwing some encouragement out there. Like, you can do it. Just, yeah, at the end of the day, even though the world's sort of exploding or falling apart or whatever, however you want to look at it, you can always let yourself exist. You can feed and water yourself and take care of your mind and your body, and given enough time, things will get better. Yeah, I totally didn't mean for this to get as depressing as it did. This is supposed to be an uplifting thing, not like a depressing thing. I do believe that everything will be alright, though. But this is... Until my next video, which will probably be about something equally as random as plants, keep making awesome stuff out there. Keep healing, take care of yourself, wear a mask. Yeah, and thank you for watching.